Welcome to the deep dive. This is where we jump into sources you're interested in, unpack them, and help you get informed fast.
Sounds good.
So today we're digging into something pretty fundamental: building wealth, managing personal finance, stuff that's, well, always relevant.
Mm-hmm. And we're using The Richest Man in Babylon
Hmm.
as our main guidepost.
Yeah.
Just some commentary and reactions we've gathered.
Exactly. It's amazing how this book, using stories from ancient Babylon, lays out principles that still resonate, nearly a century old.
Yeah, George S. Clason really hit on some enduring truths back in the 1920s. He even apparently coined "pay yourself first." Came from these pamphlets he wrote.
Right, which were then compiled into the book. Okay, so our mission here is to pull out those core ideas, how to acquire wealth, keep it, and make it grow based on the book and the discussions around it.
Let's do it.
All right, so foundation first. Where does Clason say we absolutely have to start?
It really boils down to one very clear principle. Save something from everything you earn, right off the top.
A part of all you earn is yours to keep. That quote really sticks.
It does. And it's not about saving leftovers. It's the first thing you do with your income. That's the whole pay yourself first concept.
Yeah.
Before bills, before wants, anything.
Okay, so it's like that analogy they use, that first bit you save is the seed for your tree of wealth.
Precisely. You plant that seed first. Consistent saving nourishes it.
Gotcha. But, the immediate pushback is often, okay, great idea, but how? I barely make ends meet as it is.
That's a totally valid point, and the book tackles it head on. It stresses living below your means. Making that saving happen might mean you have to look hard at your spending.
So distinguishing needs from wants.
Exactly. Maybe delaying some gratification, cutting back on the little things that add up to make space for that saving goal. It's about the bigger picture.
In that initial goal, the book often mentions 10%.
Yeah, 10% is the classic figure from the book, not less than 1/10.
But we saw some comments, right, like on Reddit, suggesting maybe today, for retirement and all, it should be higher. Maybe 15% minimum.
That's a fair point for modern times.
Yeah.
I mean, think about longer lifespans, different retirement systems compared to ancient Babylon.
Yeah.
Yeah, 10% is the start, the principle.
Yeah.
But aiming higher today, probably wise.
It's like adapting the principle to current realities.
Definitely. That extra buffer makes sense now.
Yeah.
But the core habit, setting something aside consistently, that's the non-negotiable first step.
Okay, so save first. That naturally leads to the next point, which is controlling your spending.
You got it. Controlling expenditures, budgeting, essentially, being mindful.
Because it's so easy for expenses to just expand, right, to fill whatever income you have.
Oh, absolutely. The book has that great line, something like, what each of us calls our necessary expenses will always grow to equal our incomes unless we protest to the contrary.
Yeah, that protest part is key. It implies conscious effort.
It really does. It's about actively looking at where the money goes. Are these really necessary? Or just habits or desires?
So the budget isn't meant to be like a punishment.
Not at all. It's a tool for clarity, for making sure your money serves your real goals, not just leaking away on things that don't matter much in the long run.
Okay, makes sense. Save consistently, control spending. What's next on the Babylonian path to wealth?
Making your money multiply, putting those savings to work.
Investing, not just hoarding the coins.
Exactly. You need to build an income from your savings, that golden stream, as the book calls it, flowing back into your purse.
And that's where compound interest comes in, presumably. The money making money.
That's the magic, right?
Yeah.
Your initial savings earn something, then those earnings start earning too. It's slow at first, maybe, but over time it accelerates. It's patient growth.
Like that tree analogy again. It doesn't shoot up overnight. Needs steady nourishment.
Spot on. Which is why the book warns so strongly against get-rich-quick thinking.
Right, because if you're trying to make your money multiply, you also have to protect it. Guard against loss.
Absolutely critical.
Yeah.
The book stresses being cautious, studying potential investments carefully, understand the risks.
Don't just jump into something that sounds amazing without doing your homework.
Or worse, trusting the wrong advice. That's a big theme.
Yeah, the analogy about not asking a brickmaker about jewels. Ask the expert.
Right. Seek advice from people who actually know about handling money successfully. People with a track record. Not your buddy who heard a hot tip, necessarily.
Avoid the inexperienced or, frankly, those who might just be trying to take advantage.
Prudence is key when your treasure is at stake.
Okay, now, there's a specific investment the book highlights, which feels a bit old world, but maybe still relevant. Home ownership.
Yeah. Make thy dwelling a profitable investment. It's presented as more than just having a roof. Owning your home instead of paying rent forever builds equity. It's an asset.
And provides stability, pride. The book mentions things like a place for kids to play, a garden.
Right. The non-financial benefits, too. It's about building that foundation, that sense of security for the family, which I think still holds true for many people today, even if the financial equation gets debated sometimes.
True. And speaking of long-term security, that leads into another principle: securing a future income, planning ahead.
Thinking about the future. Retirement, obviously, but also what happens if you can't work? How do you provide for your family?
So things like insurance, long-term investments, planning for contingencies.
Exactly. The book even had this, early concept of life insurance, people pooling small amounts to support the families of those who passed away. Pretty forward thinking.
It really was. Okay, so plan for the future, but you also need to maximize your current ability to earn, right?
Yes. Increase thy ability to earn. Continuous self-improvement.
Sharpening your skills, learning more, becoming wiser in your work or craft.
Because the more valuable you become, the more you can potentially earn. It's logical.
More knowledge, more skill equals higher income potential.
Which then fuels your ability to save and invest more. It's a positive cycle. The book links this to having clear, achievable goals aligned with your skills, too.
Don't just wish vaguely. Have a definite purpose you're working towards.
Right. And this idea of improving yourself brings us back, again, to seeking good advice.
It really hammers this point home, doesn't it? Seek counsel from the wise.
Repeatedly. Find people who have proven success with money and learn from them.
And be wary of advice that's just freely given away, especially from those without experience. That quote is great. Advice is one thing that is freely given away, but watch that you take only what is worth having.
Such a good filter, especially today, with advice coming from everywhere. Who has the actual track record? Who really handles money day in, day out successfully?
Trust the experienced hand.
Sure.
Okay, so we have the principles. Save, control spending, invest wisely, protect capital, own your home, secure the future, increase earnings, seek good counsel. But knowing isn't doing right.
Exactly. Action is crucial. The book talks about good luck, favoring those who take action, who seize opportunity.
And the enemy of action is?
Procrastination. It's framed as something that holds people back from success. You got to crush the spirit of procrastination, as one summary put it.
Yeah, the stories often show opportunities being missed because someone hesitated or delayed.
You have to act when the time is right. Don't just ponder forever.
So these ideas are sort of distilled into the 5 laws of gold. Can you quickly recap those?
Sure. Law 1. Gold comes easily to those who save at least a tenth. Law 2. Gold labors diligently for the wise owner who finds profitable work for it. Law 3. Gold clings to the protection of the cautious owner who invests under advice of wise men.
Okay.
Law 4. Gold slips away from the person who invests in businesses they don't understand or that aren't approved by skilled investors. And Law 5. Gold flees the person who tries to force it into impossible earnings or follows alluring advice of tricksters or their own inexperienced ambitions.
So basically, save, invest wisely with good advice, avoid what you don't understand, and don't be greedy or naive.
That's the gist. Wealth follows laws, it's not just luck.
Got it. Now, what about the flip side? Not just building wealth, but dealing with debt. There's the Damasir story.
Ah, yes, Damasir, the camel trader. His story is powerful for tackling debt. Key takeaways are, first, acknowledge your debts, see them as enemies to conquer.
Don't ignore them.
Right. Then make a concrete plan. His famous plan was, live on 70% of your income, save 10%, still paying yourself first, and use 20% to systematically pay down debts.
The 72-7-20 plan.
Yep. And the importance of determination. A free mind focused on getting out of debt. Even small regular payments help build goodwill with creditors. It shows you're serious.
It's about taking control, having a strategy, not feeling overwhelmed.
Exactly. It's an empowering approach.
And finally, there's a thread about just work itself, isn't there?
Yes, the connection between work, diligence, and attracting wealth. Sure Enota's story touches on this. Hard work and industriousness don't just bring money. They bring respect, opportunities, good relationships.
So it counters any idea that work is somehow beneath someone aiming for wealth.
Completely. Work is presented as honorable and foundational to success. Your effort matters.
Okay, wow. We've covered a lot of ground rooted in these, well, ancient parables. If you had to boil it down, what's the core message listeners should really latch onto?
I think it's that building wealth isn't some secret code. It's based on these straightforward, timeless principles. Saving, managing, investing, learning, acting. It takes discipline and consistency, yes, but it's teachable. It's achievable.
And
It's achievable.
these principles, even though they're wrapped in stories from Babylon, they're still incredibly practical for us today, aren't they?
Absolutely. The context changes, the tools change, maybe the percentages need tweaking, but the fundamental habits of financial health, they seem pretty universal and enduring.
So it's worth everyone taking a moment maybe to think, which of these resonates most right now? Which one could I start applying, even in a small way?
That's the perfect way to think about it. Small steps, taken consistently.
So let's leave everyone with this thought. Considering these ancient insights, what's just one small seed you can plant, starting today, that will begin to grow your own tree of wealth?
Yeah, give that some real thought.
And definitely, if this sparked your interest, check out the full book, The Richest Man in Babylon, and keep exploring these ideas. Thanks for joining us on the deep dive.
Thanks for the chat.